as fast as I can. Just to save the world we live in, with the power I was given. So I keep on pushing.
What's up, everybody? I feel like I ain't had like a sit down live in a while. I went live like a couple weeks ago when I was started like going to hikes and shit again, but I got a lot I want to talk about that like I didn't want to like make separate videos for. Um Fuck yeah, bro. Solar powered African vegan says, "Hey, that's copyrighted music that belongs to Mark Dreams. You will be sued." That's funny because one time that happened to me, bro. Like, when I first released my album, like I didn't register my YouTube channel or all of my emails. I didn't like set it up where they knew that that was my email. So my YouTube channel, like my main account, it flagged it for the music that was in the background of old videos of mine. Like, because I've been working on the album for a while, but I'm glad I got it fixed because I was like, damn, about to get a strike over my own songs. But now I got a lot I'm working on. I guess I want to take this time to kind of like, it's been a very fucking busy couple weeks. Like annoyingly busy. All I want to do is get to making music, but like I have all these other, just normal human responsibilities, but like all this other shit too. Like I was trying to relaunch my business. I had some complications with relaunching my business. There's a lot to business behind the scenes that most people don't like see, cause like I have my so I got my Blue Lotus extract, right? Giant bag of it. But like I have been working out some business shit behind the scenes about this shit for like a week and a half now, trying to work things out with the person I get this extract from, because I found out what percentage, like, because the main molecule that's in Lotus is nuciferine, and I found out that uh, the extract I got had less than 10% nuciferine in the extract, and it bothered me because I'm like, no wonder why. Like, I had to take like 8 grams of the extract for it to do what I wanted it to do. Because I've taken Lotus before in the past many times and just made my own extracts and done all these different things with it. So I know what it feels like when you get it to work. And I was wondering why I was taking like, it took 5 grams of this extract for me to feel even really anything. And so then I bagged up about 15 of these bags, and now I'm sitting here like I got it taken care of. I got a brand new thing of extract coming. But the problem is it's going to take like 2 weeks for it to get here. I now have to order more packages and more stickers and for this new extract that's coming, and before I even package this new extract, I need to try it to make sure that it is what the person claims it is. Um, because I was told that like the extract that I just got or that I got 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, that I was told that was 200. What did she say? 200 to 1, like a 200 to 1 extract. And I'm like, now that I've been behind the scenes with a lot of these things, I'm like, 2 to 1, 200 to 1, uh, 20 to 1, 50 to 1. That means nothing. 40x, 50x, 100x. That means nothing. Like, that's why I asked the lady, okay, how much percentage of the molecule is in the thing? Like, so the extract that I got coming now is supposed to be anywhere between 20 to 50% of, Nuciferian. I'll figure it out when I get it. I can, and go from there. Um, I even tried getting pure Nuciferian, and I was gonna add it into the extract myself and make a mixture myself. But pure Nuciferian is I think chick said 10, little almost. It was like 9 grand, like 9 and some change, but like almost 10 grand for a kilo of it. And I'm like, bro, I'm not. It's like real drug prices. Fuck that. but but literally today, I had to run around all day because I don't have a car, so I had to wait for the chick to message me back, see what the prices were exactly. I found out, there was tax. There was just a bunch of dumb shit that I had to deal with. I had to spend money I don't have really, just to try to whatever. Now I'm sitting on this extract that's less than 5% Nuciferian, and it's just, man, this shit was. It was just annoying. I just didn't think this was going to be that complicated. I was like, I'm just going to relaunch the business. Then I'm going to get back to working on my album, and then everything's going to be smooth. It did not work like that. It's not smooth, but it's happening. So, it's okay, I ordered the new extract today. It'll be here in about 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks, I order the packages tomorrow. 2 weeks, I'll bag everything up. I'll make sure it is as good as I want it to be, and then I'm gonna start selling the extract. But it's so annoying because I just spent the money that was meant for the Ormus, and because I am gonna be selling more than just Blue Lotus, but I'm like, well, the Ormus, the Blue Lotus, the Motherwort, the Wild Dagger, and the Kratom was kind of my main focus, and probably Hawaiian Baby Woodrow seeds too, but that's my main focus for the website. But it's just been a run around all day long just trying to get the first product on. And then on top of that, I'm working on my album, and there's good news about this. So I don't know if you guys know the old school music, but I don't know if you guys ever heard of Matchbox 20. They were a band, kind of like an alternative band, but more like a pop music type thing. Rob Thomas was the lead singer of Matchbox 20. A producer that worked on a few of their songs is a friend of my dad's, and I got him to basically check out my album for free for me. So I'm checking over everything, and then I'm gonna send the album to him, and he's gonna, because he has a professional studio, he's a professional producer. I just need somebody's ears that are different than mine to hear the album before I release the album and call it and wipe my hands with it. But since this dude is a friend of my dad's and I got him to do this for me for free, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have him check out the album, see if he can, whatever professional mastering engineers do, and see if he could do that, and then send the album back, and then 100% it'll be fucking out that same day. But yeah, this has been one hell of a couple weeks, man. One hell of a couple weeks. Let me say what up to everybody. Soma Alchemy, what's going on? Soma Alchemy says, are you looking for organic farms to source your herbs? I'll have Motherwort, Skullcap available in bulk amounts. Oh yeah, definitely. We'll definitely talk about that, because I'm always looking for, I guess, reliable places to get certain things, because you know, I've gotten motherwort like in the past, but sometimes it's hit or miss. And if I'm even if I'm like making an extract with a certain plant, sometimes it's hit or miss depending on where it was grown, when it was picked, like all that. So it would be dope to have like a legitimate the same place where it's like, oh, that's where the motherwort came from, and that's where the whatever. So yeah, we'll definitely talk. Solar powered African. Yeah, man, the lotus is always mild from these places that I buy from. I didn't know the content was that low. Yeah, I didn't either until, working out all this shit. And then when I start asking questions about, like, okay, why is the product not as strong as it says or whatever? And then it gets to the fact of that most of the people that sell these extracts, it's not like they use them. Like, so I don't know if they actually knew that, like, well, if I don't know. But I'm just glad I got it taken care of. DMT Infinity, what's going on, fam? Oh, you're good, bro. The party just started. I was just sitting there venting, basically, because it's been a hell of a 2 weeks. Like, in an annoying way. Jonah, what's going on? I literally just came out of a little Changa. Hey, fuck yeah. Shit. Yeah, 10 grand for the new Safarian was crazy, bro. I'm like, yo, I can extract it from the lotus flower for much cheaper. Holy shit. That's insane. But I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna hope that the extract that I got now is good and it comes and it's on the way and it is what it is. Cause then, yeah, Jonah says, bro, I wanna try Ormus. As soon as this extract comes and I know I don't have to try a different lotus extract and I can actually just sell that one, then I'm gonna focus on getting the Ormus. Cause I have a place for the Ormus and like, but so I won't have to worry about like trying that Ormus or trying this Ormus or it's not like it's like okay, but I just needed the extra money. But it's this shitty thing when it's like when you only have a small amount of money to start this business and it's like well you just dipped into the extra money so it's like man. But it'll all work out. I know it will. Solar Power African Vegan says, in business, the rule of thumb is whatever you're planning, it's going to take twice as long and cost twice as much. If that is so real, I wish I would have had that in mind like weeks ago, months ago. DMT Infinity, you're right. Psychedelics and computers are going to be a masterpiece. It really is. That's why I'm trying so hard. Like, I guess I just gotta learn that I gotta learn to ask for help, and I gotta learn that it's okay to get help. Like, I could have asked this producer dude, like, for help a while ago. I guess it's just my ego. I'm like, it's a very whatever thing to be like, I made all like the album that I make. I'm like I made it on my own. I produced it on my own. I made the beats. I sat on the computer and made the melodies, and I just and I mixed and mastered it. Yeah, but if someone else can master it better than I can, I should probably let them do that. Because then the project will just be even better than even I imagined. DMT, it's Jay. Hey, Geek Links, what's going on, bro? It's been a minute. That's the difference between those people and you, Mark. Jonas, those he he takes what he sells, so that kind of separates you from them. Yeah, good point. And it's not even on like I don't know. I just you'll know what you're selling if you're actually taking it. Like Soul Alchemy says, Ormus seems to amplify the effects of herbs, but I do worry about Ormus from salt or ocean water due to Fukushima. Best sources or actual white gold powder from spring water or from spring. Yeah, yeah. I've never. I guess I've only had like Ormus from salt a couple times. Uh, the preferred Ormus, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they just make it from gold or like I don't know how else they get it, but it's not salty and it seems pretty like potent. So, but yeah, the Ormus from salt might have other like slight contaminants. Shouldn't be too bad though, but still get to do 90%. Solar Powered African Vegan said, "You tried smoking lotus with bud yet?" Actually, yeah. I've actually made. Eventually, this is what I want to do. Eventually, because I'm starting with this extract. It's just like a water soluble extract. But eventually, I want to start selling different waxes, like different shatters, and like thing. Kind of like you can have different shatters with cannabis. You can have the same thing with lotus. And I've made different extracts and different shatters. I've even made shatters with like certain individual parts of the lotus plants. And I say shatters, but they never turn to shatter. It's a little different consistency. But yeah, I've dabbed a lot of these lotus extracts and shit, and it's really dope. I have another idea because I've mixed the dabbable lotus extract with like just a bowl of cannabis flower and like smoked it, and it was a beautiful mixture. But the only negative side effect is when you smoke it, it only lasts like 30, 40 minutes or so. So like, it doesn't really last that long when you smoke it, because it only like lasts about 2 hours anyways when you eat it. Jonah Charles says, like, if I was gonna buy something from someone, I would rather have had them tell me about their experience and what to expect rather than just taking it from someone that's never even tried it, basing it off of scientific research. Right. Okay, yeah, I gotta try some of this lotus extract. Do you smoke it? But yeah, you can smoke it. I don't know about the water soluble extracts. It's just when you put a fire to them, they kind of harden and they're extremely harsh, and it's just really hard to smoke. It's not that you can't smoke water soluble extracts, it's just they're really harsh compared to like oil soluble extracts or alcohol soluble extracts. Um, but yeah, eventually I want to have like both and have many different types of lotus extracts, because lotus is slightly different depending on like if you made an extract with the blue flower petals or you make an extract with the yellow stamens, they have slightly different effects. Because the molecules in it are slightly different. So like then when you make an extract with the whole plant, like that has a certain feeling. But if you start separating parts of the plant and making extracts with different parts, they all feel similar, but they all feel slightly different. So eventually I want to have things like that, where it's like there's variety in it. And, because I do think one of the main problems, now that I've been trying to get this extract, I do think one of the main problems is the extracts on the market are just not that potent. Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe it's because a lot of people really don't know what they're selling. So like, rather be safe than sorry. And if you're a business, the safe side is like, let's make the extract weak. So then it's just safer. It's kind of the same thing they do in like the whole ayahuasca thing, with like people go down to drink ayahuasca, it's not like the shamans are giving people shamanic mega doses, you know, when they go down to drink the ayahuasca. Or because if they did, they'd have a lot of people that would want to sue. What time is that? Bro, I was supposed to sit down and live stream like, I feel like hours ago. God damn. God damn, drop my vape. You know what I realized? I've been talking about this shit for days now in videos. I'm just like, when I clicked live stream, I realized I'm a little too sober. That's why I was smoking, drink some other water, about to drink some Kratom. I'm like, man, I feel hype as a motherfucker. I am sleeping. Years of taking Kratom. And it still tastes like shit. Now the last thing I need to do on this Psychedelics and Computers album, before I give it to the guy that's gonna master it, is just I need to make sure it's mixed right. Like, because after he masters it, like, it's not like he can't change the volume of the instruments to what I want them to be. He can only work on the whole track at the whole time. So if I want a hi-hat louder, I better turn it up now. If I want a piano louder, I better turn it up now. Or if, like, just little things like that. If I want a flanger on something, or a phaser, or a chorus effect, or whatever on an instrument, I better add it now, because as soon as I send it to the dude, it's done. Like, as soon as I send it to the dude, my part is done, and I'm not touching it ever again. Unless I get, like, time in my life, and I get successful, and then I'll go back and be like, well, let me make a different version of this.
I don't think you know who I am. I'm the modern day Superman.
Your most popular video is actually your Blue... DMT Infinity says, your most popular video is actually your Blue Lotus documentary. I get recommended it at least once a month from YouTube. From everyone on YouTube except the front page because my subscription updates. Jonah... Ooh, I love the way you said that, bro. Jonah says, it's like you're tapping into different dimensional levels of what these substances are capable of when you're taking them in different forms. For real. Fuck yeah, Minnesota. Geeklink says Minnesota just legalized weed. Finally. Eventually, like, it still shocks me that weed's still not legal in certain places. Like, we're in the same country. Like, we're all in America. But it's weird that I could sit here and smoke and dab, and I can order weed through the mail. Like, I can go to the store and get some weed. I can whatever. But then there's some states in the United States that if you had an ounce of weed or some shatter on you, you're going to jail. It's crazy. But what I do love is that the out of the drug war, drugs totally fucking won, because weed might be illegal, like Delta 9 THC is still illegal in certain places, but Delta 8 is everywhere. All 50 states, Delta 8 is now everywhere. And now I'm not really, Delta 8's my least favorite out of all the cannabinoids, but it still just proves a point that they should just give up trying to make drugs illegal, because there's 10, you make one drug illegal, you make Delta 9 illegal, there's 10,000 cannabinoid molecules that you can make out of that. There's hundreds that are in the cannabinoid plant that we don't even know of. Like, people had no idea what HHC was until like a couple years ago, but come to find out, it's actually in weed. So everybody who smokes weed, who thinks they're just smoking Delta 9, no, they're also smoking HHC and a few other, cannabinoids and other things that are in the weed plant when you're getting high. Like, it's not just Delta 9, it's a little more complex than that. But I love that it's just all this science, all this future shit, and like, a lot of people don't like the Delta 8 market and all that because it's kind of fucking up the Delta 9 market. I don't care if it's fucking up the market. I'm just glad that it fucked up the entire drug war of them trying to prevent people from getting high. Like, damn, like, just leave people alone. Like, how many research chemicals were invented just because people wanted to take mushrooms but they couldn't? People wanted to take LSD but they couldn't. So how many hundreds, thousands of drugs were created because of that? The drug war has actually created more drugs than it has taken off of the streets. It's actually put more drugs on the streets. I love to wait for a full reset. Oh, Solar Park African Vegan says, I love to wait for a full reset, about a month or two of LSD, and then blast myself away. I'd be having full understandings about everything about that. I feel you on that. It's different, I guess, with me though with LSD, because like, I had all my DMT experiences before I ever did LSD. So like, going into LSD, I already traveled the psychedelic world, met a bunch of entities, made friends in other dimensions, and learned how to sing objects into creation with that. Like, I learned how to do a bunch of crazy other shit with DMT, and then I did LSD, and it was like, I already had an understanding of what I was looking at type shit. Like, it was like I could look at the LSD visuals, and it's like I knew what those visuals were a part of. Like, I knew that they were a part of the giant transcendental object at the end of time. I knew that they were a part of this thing. And then, like, because I learned how to travel with DMT, I learned how to travel with, like, any other psychedelic, right? Which is just kind of meditating while you're on the psychedelic and kind of just letting it take you and learning how to let go to it. But something I've learned is that, shit, if you learn how to let go to it, it's something Terrence McKenna said once. Once the valve's open, it's just open. So, like, sometimes it's not necessarily a dose or, like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just, like, if you can let it take you, it's going to take you. Like, if it pulls you, it pulls you. But it's much easier for it to take you when you have when you're on a tolerance break, or like after you took a tolerance break, or like it's easier for it to take you if you take 5 to 7 grams of mushrooms instead of taking 2 grams of mushrooms. But that's not saying that it can't take you on 2 grams of mushrooms. It can still take you on at 2 grams of mushrooms. Like my homie Booker from True Life Stories, he was just talking about a story where he didn't weigh them, but he said it probably wasn't more than like 2 grams once. But yet he was having full immersed visuals of like closing his eyes and tripping in the darkness and like going in it and going through it. And like the way people describe the silent darkness on 5 grams, you can do that on 3 grams if the set and setting is right. Like if you push it, like me and my friend Twiz used to talk about that when we would like run, we would run out of DMT or we'd run out of mushrooms, so we didn't have much mushrooms. So we'd have to split this thing, and we would have to split an eighth sometimes. But we were like, well, we know how to push it, so if you can split the eighth and then push the experience to open even more, you can then kind of push a 1.7 gram experience to feel like a 3.5 gram experience. Kind of like you can do with, like, if you take a 3.5 grams, if you take an eighth, if you push it, have the right set and setting, sit in silent darkness, do this thing, you can push it to be like a 5 gram experience. And it's like something I've learned over the years, you know, you just kind of got to push it and let it open and let it take you, and, you know, and just kind of go wherever it goes. But it's much easier when you take higher doses or when you're on a tolerance break. But sometimes I'm like, 2 weeks is a good tolerance break. 3 to 4 weeks is a better tolerance break, but 2 weeks, even sometimes 1 week tolerance break, shit. Like if 6 hits got me there, maybe I just need to take 8 or 9 hits instead, because maybe the tolerance break isn't fully there. But it's this weird thing where it's like it depends on what you're looking for, and it depends on the thing, because some trips are different. Sometimes I trip to make music, so like it's a weird thing where it's like sometimes I'll take a lower dose, or I'll actually be glad that the tolerance isn't fully whatever, so then it's easier for me to make music. But I still love making music on a high dose though. But it's easier to make music on a high dose when you have a slight tolerance, because because it's just easier to maneuver on it. I've taken doses where I was like, my intention was to sit down and make some music, but I took way too much, so I just kind of had to go on the trip. Like, it was like, no more music, and you just go on the trip, wait for it to end, and wait for it to come down, then I'll get to the music. But yeah, I just opened the thing, seen the last comment. Solar Powered African Vegan says, I love this conversation. Let's get into this thing. That's what I'm saying, my sponsors. Oh shit, Geek Link says, I finally got rid of my anxiety and my whole world just flipped 180. Everything is so beautiful. It's like I've been stuck in a prolonged storm for years and finally came out of the other side. Bro, that's beautiful to hear, man. For real. That's beautiful. Because I bet it's probably like, I forget who said this to me once, but they said something similar. They were going through something, and they just said it felt like they walked like like a 180, or like a complete turn, and it's like a completely different type of world. Like you look back, it's almost like if you split the world in half, and there's rain on this side and sunshine and beauty on this side, and they said they were in the sunshine and beauty now, and I was like, wow, it's beautiful. But that's how it can be. A change, just from like a mental change, can do that drastic, just visual change in our life, because I guess how we feel will depend on what we're looking at, like if we're feeling good, we're going to look more at good things, but if we're feeling bad, we're going to look more at like down things, like, oh shit. So I might have to turn the high frequencies up to this a little bit. Okay, that's better. That point, Solar Powered African Vegan says, I trip to experience what the yogis called samadhi experience. I love to experience what is to be God. There's a certain dose and tolerance break. I need to hit that point. But after reading Stan Groff's book, Realms of Human Unconscious, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with LSD low doses with a blindfold and the right frequency music. I feel you on that. I guess it's, I don't know if you've ever done DMT, but like, you want to meet God, go to DMT. It's the best way. It's most quickest, most like, you're there. Like, you go from not here to there, like leaving your body completely. Like, DMT is a whole nother monster, a whole nother beast. Like, I've had many talks about how like it's almost like all the psychedelics are just little pieces of DMT. Like it's like DMT is the whole hand. And this is LSD, this is mushrooms, this is ayahuasca, this is mescaline, this is, whatever. But DMT is this whole immersed psychedelic world. Like here on planet Earth, we're on a whole immersed human world, whole immersed physical world. With DMT, you can get to the whole immersed light world, the whole, like, be completely immersed into another world. Like, I forgot my name, like, forget who you are, forget what a human is. Like, those are some of the craziest, most beautiful DMT trips I've ever had. Like, the trips where you're just completely in it. But it's those trips that then helped me when I did LSD for the first time, or helped me when I did mushrooms or capsuled ayahuasca for the first time or whatever, and like helped me be like, okay, there's like a whole world in there. Like, because with LSD, I said it to my one friend, with DMT, it's like being sucked into the cup, and with LSD, it's like sipping out of the cup. So like, with DMT, it's like you smoke the DMT, and it's like the DMT is smoking you. You're like, it's almost like you then go inside of this whole psychedelic world where it's this whole thing. But when you take the LSD, it's like that whole psychedelic world starts leaking through, like dripping through into this world. So then I guess it's just the knowledge that I had about, well, I've traveled DMT so many times. I applied that to LSD. But really, I guess I dived with LSA before I really dived with LSD. I did LSD before I did LSA, but I didn't really explore with it, try to figure out how to like travel with it or like go deep with it or whatever. It was just the typical LSD trips with your friends. But once I started diving with LSA, Hawaiian Baby Woodrow Seeds, and I started seeing that there's a whole different thing with that. Like, I mean, like, I've traveled, like, a timeline, like a legitimate, like, real timeline where it's, like, little pit stops in this timeline are moments in time that, are in the human world, like, just moments in time. But, like, with LSA, I was able to travel the tryptamine psychedelic world very similarly that I do with like ayahuasca or DMT or mushrooms or whatever. Now, with LSD, it's harder for me to do that. It's harder for me to travel into the psychedelic or that Godhead thing. You can. It's just a little more hit or miss with LSD. Like, that's why it's like a lot of times, like, I trip alone, so like a lot of times I'll just trip alone, I sit in the room, and I'm always just trying to kind of travel. With LSD, I could travel with my eyes open sometimes. If I stare at the ceiling, you could just kind of get sucked up into it if you let go to it. But the LSD trip I just had on Bicycle Day, it was closed eyes, and I tried to do the closed eyes and silent darkness thing, but LSD it has more of a funny thing to the mind than DMT does. DMT has such a clarity to the mind. Like, you smoke DMT and it's not like it makes you like things aren't more funny, or things aren't like, you know how like people take LSD or mushrooms and like they can kind of laugh with their friends, like, or whatever. DMT is not like that. It's a little more just clarity. It's such a clarity of the mind. But when I tried doing the silent darkness on the LSD the other day, and I just laid there for like an hour or two, right? Just trying to lay there, blindfold on, silent darkness. I had the window open, and it was about 6 in the morning, so like the birds started like chirping and stuff, so I can kind of hear the birds chirping. But with the closed eye visuals that time, it's like I was on. I don't know, I took about 13 hits over the night, but like, so it's not. I don't know. I was on a high enough dose where I'm like, yo, I could travel the tryptamine world on this dose. But LSD is funny, because I went to travel the tryptamine world like I did on mushrooms or like I do on DMT or whatever. I put the blindfold on, and I'm laying there, and then it's like I started seeing fractalized things, kind of like this type of shit, but you start seeing fractalized shit within the blackness. But then it started taking me around, almost like a round spiral staircase almost. And in this round spiral staircase, it was like I would try to turn, and each turn would like take me a 90-degree angle. And like in this 90-degree angles, I was getting deeper into the psychedelic world. With LSD, like I have to try to focus and I have to go deeper, and it's like I'll see one thing behind my eye, and then I have to look deeper into that visual to go deeper into the psychedelic world. I call it following the rabbit. Like you just follow the rabbit. It's like you see the first visual, and then you'll try to see what is that visual made out of, and that visual is made out of little smaller visuals, and if you go deeper into those smaller visuals, you can see, well, what is that made out of, and it just kind of keeps going deeper and deeper into the world. And I was doing this, and I was like it was like this weird fucking staircase of some sort, I don't know. But then I got to a point where there was like, I don't know, it was like this weird shit, but then you see the black infinite nothingness, but there was like depth behind this black infinite nothingness. But because I'm on a high dose of LSD, I'm looking at this thing, and it's like almost like a stick thing with like a ball on the top, and then the stick fell, the ball fell with it, the ball bounced, and then it went back up and stuck back together. Like I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what the fuck this was, but like I was looking at this thing, and it's like it was like a rectangle and a ball, and the thing would fall, ball would bounce, but then it would bounce right back together, kind of like a loop, but like then it would just kept doing it. But then for some reason, to me, this was hilarious. I started dying laughing. I mean, it was the hardest I've laughed in so long. I don't remember the last time I've laughed that hard. So like I'm just sitting there dying laughing, and I remember before I started laughing, I wanted to try to move past this thing that I was seeing, this whatever the fuck. I was trying to move past it because I'm like, I just want to go deeper into the psychedelic world. But it's like I kept seeing that, so I kept laughing, and I laughed so hard that I was like, this is hilarious, because it was almost like I was laughing. It's like the whole thing was so funny, like it was laughing at me, because like the whole time I was trying so hard to travel into the psychedelic world. So like, you know, I turned off the music, I was sitting in silence, I had the blindfold on, I just laid there, I was laying there for a good hour before anything really started happening. Like, I was trying, and it's like this thing that I was seeing was like, you're trying so hard, and it's almost like I got this weird, like, funny, you're trying so hard to travel the psychedelic world with this LSD, and you're all, ha 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 ha, and it's like, you know, I just started dying laughing, and it was just hilarious, and, I don't know, I got this weird thing out of it that it's like, this thing was like, well, you know, like you wouldn't have to try so hard if you just smoked some DMT. Take some DMT, you won't have to try it all. And it's like, it was almost like these jokes, but it was me making the jokes in my head, but not really. Like, it was complicated, but it was a funny trip, because it reminded me that, like, LSD can get funny sometimes, and, like, it's not as, like immersive as DMT is, or like how it kind of laughed at me because DMT was like the first psychedelic I traveled with. It laughed because it's like you're looking for DMT in everything you do. Ha 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 ha. And I'm just like, damn. Like you're right. So like, it was a funny trip. This was bicycle day that just happened, but like, yeah, I don't know. It was like, well, it just kind of reminded me, well, maybe you should just take some mushrooms, or maybe you should take some ayahuasca, or maybe you should take some DMT, if that's what you want to do. Like, if you want to travel the DMT world, smoke DMT. Like, but I'm like, you could, LSD has it too, or mushrooms has it too, or whatever. It's almost like the lesson, like, I got a major lesson in that thing, which is like, once again, always, don't take life so seriously. Um, Two, you don't always get what you want. Like, so what I wanted was to travel the psychedelic world. What I wanted was for the DMT vortex to open up while I was on LSD, or like one time the entire ceiling opened up like a fun house. Like the entire fucking ceiling opened up like a fun house, and when it opened up, there was this whole psychedelic world in there with like these giant cathedrals and these giant things and whatever the fuck. So then, for like a good year after that LSD trip, I was looking for that same experience in every LSD trip that I had. And it like kind of laughed at me and said, well, you're getting too attached. Like, even though you think you're letting go, and you are letting go, you're getting attached to, you had this one LSD trip that was so dramatically like a breakthrough, and then every LSD trip after that, you're trying to get it to do that same thing. Just like the bicycle day, I was trying to get it to like open up like it does on mushrooms or DMT, and like it just kind of was like, you're always trying. Stop trying. Start tripping. And I was like, damn. Like, I don't know. It's just, I got some funny lessons out of that trip. But like, it was definitely a dope experience though. LSD is definitely hit or miss though. It's a lot more all over the place. I mean, not that DMT isn't all over the place. It's just, it's a lot more hit or miss. You know, yeah. Oh shit. I think, I think True Life Stories is live. If they are, I might go over there and hang out for a little bit. I got like maybe 30 minutes left of some free time. And Solar Powered African Vegan, Silent Darkness. This is why I said with LSD, it's hit or miss, because DMT was the first psychedelic I ever really did. I know how to sit in darkness and stare at darkness, like, because it works. It's just like, it took about an hour of me laying there in black nothingness for anything to start to happen. But the problem on LSD is it's an energizing type of psychedelic. So like, you don't really want to lay there with your eyes closed doing nothing for an hour. But if you learn how to silence your mind and like kind of, like I said, there's these techniques I say follow the rabbit. It's just as soon as you see the first visual on the closed eye visuals on LSD, you start following it deeper. And it takes a lot of work, like, and it takes practice and just trying to figure it out. A lot of different meditation practices have helped me just be able to lay there. Cause like, my one dude said, he was talking about mushrooms, but like, I guess it works with any psychedelic. People say, it doesn't work if they just lay there, so they like to like trip with their friends or whatever. And I'm like, maybe it goes back to what I was saying, with my problem is that I expect it to be something, and then when it doesn't be the something that I expect it to be, I'm like, oh, it didn't work. No, it worked. It's these things don't always give us what we want, or maybe we don't understand what we want sometimes. Like, it's a weird thing. But that's why I said with LSD, it's a hit or miss type of thing. But that's why I definitely prefer, like, if I'm gonna travel, like travel the psychedelic world, I prefer LSA over LSD. Um, but LSA is just, it's rough. It's rough on the body. Like, it's hard to deal with. It's not as you're just nauseous the whole time. You're just whatever. But I like that because then it makes me want to lay down for 4 or 5 hours. Like, that's kind of why I like ayahuasca or Hawaiian baby woodrose seeds, because they make you nauseous and you don't want to get up and do nothing. All you want to do is lay there. And that's a perfect chance for me to just lay there in darkness and go into the psychedelic world. But yeah, but I'm gonna probably get going because I'm gonna check out True Life Stories, see if they're live. If you guys got free time, go check out True Life Stories on YouTube channel. I think they're live, so I'll be over there. Much love, y'all.